Unprofessional Movie Reviews. This is Mark, and this is Billy. We just saw the movie 999. Okay, well, let's talk about this movie. The way this works is, I tell you guys to like and subscribe. This Unprofessional Movie Review, so we'll be swearing, we'll be talking unprofessionally about professional things, and I'll be looking at my phone when I forget the name of the director.
And you know, stock in the Twitters is way, way down, so follow us on the Twitters while you can. Also, like us on the Facebooks, whose stock is way, way up, and follow us on the YouTubes, whose stock is way down. Subscribe to YouTube Red, and subscribe to us there, because it doesn't make any difference to us. So
no, if you're red or white. I don't care. If you're red or normal, I should say. Also, the way we like to do this, Mark and Billy, if I didn't already say it, I did. Are you going to do the...
Yeah, I'll do the synopsis.
He'll give you a quick synopsis when I ask him to, and then we're going to give you our positives, our negatives, and then we're going to give you a tailorized rating between 0 and 10. I have to say 0 because we did The Room once. And it was 0.5.
Okay, so spoiler-free review based on what you probably already know from the trailers. It's basically about dirty cops pulling off some kind of a heist or heists. Including Kate Winslet as another character. Not spoiler to say she's some kind of mob kingpin.
No, not a spoiler.
And then there's Woody Harrelson, who's a cop, and Casey Affleck, who's a cop, like usual. And then there's Anthony Mackie, who's a cop.
Yeah.
And who's Franco? What's his name? Franco Rodriguez? What's the actor's name?
Oh, I'll tell you in a second.
Okay, well, Franco Rodriguez, that actor.
Give the synopsis, we'll get to that.
And the guy from 12 Years a Slave. You know,
Chickatell Ejiofor.
Yeah, he's good.
Very good.
Yeah,
and Aaron Paul was in there too.
Aaron Paul from Breaking the Bads. Yep. And anybody else that we're missing? Norman Reedus.
And Norman Reedus from Walking Dead and Boondock Saints. Also, Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot is in this. You may recognize her from absolutely nothing. In a couple weeks, you'll recognize her from Wonder Woman. Yep, because she is just a giant talent. Anyways.
She's hot.
Yeah, she's really hot. She's going to be our first ever 90-pound Wonder Woman. Okay. Anyways.
Amazonia.
Alright, give the synopsis and we can talk about things.
That's it.
Oh, that's it? Oh, yeah, there you go. Good synopsis. I was listening.
Dirty cops.
Dirty cops doing dirty shit. Woody Harrelson.
And Woody Harrelson.
Are they all dirty? Maybe. Are they all clean? Maybe. You'll see, it's a lot of twists and turns.
But we're going to keep this review limited to Rampart to keep Woody Harrelson happy.
Okay, also, I kind of totally want to take first snag at the positives.
All right.
Director by John Hillcoat. I just watched an interview with John Hillcoat. Super, super Australian, by the way. Like, hard to understand him. I think that he did a really good job with the directing of this movie, the direction of this movie, and whoever, I'm not going to look this up, sorry, whoever the director of photography is, I actually think is a kind of the star. Actually, really, I don't know, me and you like to disagree when it comes to shots, but I really like how this is shot. The lighting, the darks are dark. The darks are really dark. Rich blacks, and I like that because I hate when you can tell they're in pitch black and you can tell there's the director of photography has like a blue or green light on him or whatever. I don't really sense that a lot in this. There's the opening scene. They're in a car, and we're like, "Who's this? Who's this? Who's this?" And we're slowly figuring out because it's only lit up by a cigarette, and it's not even like when the cigarette lights the whole face. Cigarette lights up the cigarette, and that's it. And I actually really like the lighting of this movie. So the director of photography did what he got paid for. It was a good job. The performances, I'm going to go 50-50 if that. I'm going to say Woody Harrelson wasn't...
Kate Winslet, to me, was like, whoa.
Whoa, good?
Yeah.
Oh, well...
I thought she was great.
Then we'll get to you in a second.
Because we barely could tell it was her.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I think Woody Harrelson didn't give his best performance, but he wasn't bad.
He was trying really hard to play a character.
He reminded me a lot of Willem Dafoe in Boondock Saints, but not as hardcore as Willem Dafoe. I don't know. I don't think he sold me, but I'm going to throw him in the positives because I love Woody Harrelson. I think for the most part, except for the ones I'll specifically bring up during the negatives, I think the performances were pretty spot on. I really liked seeing Anthony Mackie in a different light because we always see him as the Falcon. We see him a lot of times kind of playing like and even in Pain and Gain, which is a Michael Bay movie I actually like, Sorry, but it's true, I did. He was still like kind of the lighthearted one of these terrible people. He's really dark in this movie, and I think Anthony Mackie actually really surprised me with how just flat up cold and dark he is. You take some. I got a couple.
I've already talked about Kate Winslet. I will say, I wanted to mention that you mentioned Woody Harrelson's performance. It reminded me a lot of Jude Law in Contagion.
Here comes a cat.
Like, hey, let's give the character some kind of a tick or weird thing. His was the mustache. It changed the way he talked, and it was really dumb. But I mean,
I'll take care of the cat. You can keep talking.
But anyway,
whoop.
Other performances that I liked. Let's see. The performances in this movie, to me, were expected. There wasn't really anything too, like, wowing or surprising to me about the performances in this movie.
Tacos.
Everybody pretty much came to work and did what they did.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's all you can really expect. I mean, like, expect from somebody, hey, here's money, do your job. And they did that.
And as far as the talent of this cast, it's been a talented cast, and I've known how talented this cast is. I'm not going to bring up Chiwetel Ejiofor too much because he's as good as he's always been. He didn't wow me because I know I'm going to be wowed by Chiwetel Ejiofor. He was good in it. And that's kind of going to go with most of them. We're like that.
The soundtrack was unobtrusive, which I liked. The special effects were really cool. Just the it's more about the script, really, than the effects. I would say, but the effects weren't cheesy or stupid.
No, I like them. Yeah, as I said, visually, I really like this movie. Do we want to move on to negatives?
I'm ready.
By the way, just to give credit when credit's due, Clifton Collins Jr. plays Franco Rodriguez. Good, and he's usually really good. I think he's gonna actually have a bit of. I don't think he's peaked yet. I think he's going. He's gonna be going.
I like him better when he plays that type of tough guy in a comedic sense.
Yeah, like in the second Buddha Saints, which I wasn't a huge fan of, or the second Crank, which we consider masterpiece.
Yeah,
he's great in that Crank. He was not in the other one. Okay, I want to kind of take negatives because you already brought it up.
Go ahead.
I even though she transformed and she looked differently than Kate Winslet really does, the accent really got to me.
Really?
I wasn't sold on it, and it kind of took me out of her scenes.
It's a complicated accent.
Doing this. Yeah, she's doing like a Hebrew/Russian accent. And Israeli Russian, which is, I don't even know if I heard it before, so maybe she's spot on, but it did really seem forced,
but it was also Americanized.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it really did seem like somebody who's doing it opposed to somebody who's actually speaking it.
But when you try to layer an accent like that, it begins to get to the point where you cannot, like, I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm saying, like, it's difficult to critique an accent like that because it's so layered. It's so layered to the point where it's going to be different for every individual.
Yeah.
It'd be like trying to do, like, a German from 1940 or doing a German now.
Yeah,
because
differences.
And doing a German who learned English from an American versus doing German from a German who learned from a British person.
Yeah. Okay.
So or learned
I could see that
English person. So there's a lot of differences in layers of accents. I personally I study accents for a hobby, and I think that she nailed the individuality of the situation, and I think that it was a very convincing accent. It wasn't consistent. But I don't know necessarily that it needs to be. That would be a negative, though, that I would give it, is that it was inconsistent.
Alright, well then, but bottom line, though, whether or not I might be off, and maybe that was spot on, it still took me out of those scenes.
Right.
And that's the bottom line. Did it take you out of a scene? Did it distract you from the movie moving? Then regardless of how good it was, that's still a negative. Not a giant negative, very nitpicky, but I had to knock down Kate Winslet a little. She wins an Oscar every time she gets out the gate, and she gets out the gate every damn year. Or gets nominated every time she comes out of the gate, and she gets out of the gate every year. So I wanted to knock her down.
She's got several roles this year too. She's not hurting.
No, she ain't hurting. And then you brought up the sound. I really didn't like the ominous sound because. You even said it, a lot of the times I had no idea what I was listening to, and I was paying attention to it. Like, there's a scene that should be quiet, and I was hearing, like... Well,
there's
I'm like, is that a kid? Is it a rat?
Yeah, there's that bit at the end where
But they did that a couple other times.
I know, but specifically the part at the end, there are these random squeals, like rats being killed. like somebody's stomping rats and just, hey, let me get that on the Foley. Let me just record that.
Yeah.
And then they just had to put it in over, what was it, police sirens?
Yeah, police sirens. So we could hear the weird squealing rats over the police sirens. Again, took me out. A lot of the weird... I don't mind ominous tones. I'm not a guy who's going to hate you on, like, oh, it's supposed to build tension. But a lot of times it was more distracting. Those tones should fall back. You shouldn't even notice you're hearing them. They should build tension subconsciously, and this didn't. I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be getting tense right now. You know, because I picked them up. Okay, you got any other?
Oh, I got plenty.
Yeah, I bet you do. I was waiting for your floodgate.
The first and foremost is that this movie has so many one-dimensional characters that don't matter. They show us Casey Affleck's wife and kid a bunch of times, and I just don't care.
Oh, I didn't.
I don't care about him. I don't care about his family. He was almost Chris Kyle.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
former
man.
Marine who turned into... I mean, Chris Kyle wasn't a cop, obviously, but
no.
He was a former Marine who turned into a cop.
We're
talking
specifically the movie Chris Kyle.
Yeah.
We're not talking anything about the
character
real person.
played by Bradley Cooper.
Yes.
The dialect, the way he talked, and the cocky attitude is exactly the same. So I wanted to say, like, hey, look, there's Chris Kyle.
Yeah.
I didn't care about him, and I disagree about Anthony Mackie. I didn't think his character, his actions were not motivated by the character's archetype, the character's way, just the way that the character was developed. That weird moment of remorse he had was...
You're right. I forgot about that thing.
That didn't make sense.
It made such little sense that I brought it up as we're watching. I'm like, is he feeling remorse right now?
And
he orchestrated this thing. Sorry, that was almost minor spoiler.
And Aaron Paul was one-dimensional and just a bad character. Norman Reedus was purely a tool for exposition.
Yep. That really got to me. And I'm going to talk about the writing. That's still a negative that I want to bring up.
don't understand the relationship between 12 Years a Slave.
Check it, tell Ejiofor.
That guy and his ex-girlfriend. Or girlfriend.
The Gal Gadot relationship.
I don't understand because she's like holding... It's confusing. Basically, they're together, but she's doing all this bad shit to him, and he can't do anything about it.
But they're still banging. They have a kid together. And,
didn't get that. So there was a lot there that I didn't understand. The lack of direct repercussion to what he does, spoiler-free, don't worry about it. He does something later in the film, and then there's like no indirect repercussions to that. I mean, there can't be, but it's confusing. This whole movie was very, very confusing.
It was.
I had something else. The plot, very run-of-the-mill plot. There's not a whole lot special about the plot. If you're really into gangland movies, you might enjoy it.
I honestly, I really did enjoy this movie, and I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy this movie. And I'm going to, let me add on to the negatives before I start actually trying to talk good about this movie again. From this little segment I squeeze in between the ratings and the negatives. But anyways, yes, everything you just said about the writing in it, it's really like they didn't want to show us anything, they wanted to tell us everything. Or show and tell, but without the show. It was literally like, that time when we did this and this and this and this.
Man, I thought we would hear the last of them after Iraq.
Yeah, like, it was so much fed to us by Spoon exposition.
Specifically by Norman Reedus.
But yeah, Norman Reedus was exposition king and when he was in it. And that was about it. And as much as I like Norman Reedus, he wasn't utilized in this. I could have played that part without reading the script. I could have just been like, yes, and then remember that time we did this? Brother? He's my brother. You now know that now, because I called him brother out of nowhere. Yeah. The writing needed help.
Who addresses their sibling as little brother?
Yeah, really.
Except for in movies.
I haven't called my older brother, period, ever in my entire life.
I called my brother Big Brother when I was like 3 for like a week.
Because he didn't know his name yet.
Yeah. I couldn't pronounce CJ, so I just said Big Brother.
Yeah.
But,
I got a little bit more with the writing. So with as simple the spoon-fed things, they still left a lot of things untouched. And it was like the only thing I learned was spoon-fed to me, and they didn't want to actually tell us anything with the narrative of the story, and then left a lot of big blanks.
Yeah.
Something that feeds us exposition so much, we should be 100% on this movie. I don't know several of the backstories that I feel like I should know, like of the bigger characters. And I don't know Gal Gadot's thing. I don't know what's going on with the Jewish Russian mafia. I know like 5 things about that, and it was because it was
well, and they're all observant too. They're all observant Jews. Like, how does this fit in with the morality of their religion? They don't explain any of that. And they don't necessarily.
Which would have been really interesting.
They can hint at it.
Then they threw in like, no, she's in with these people. I'm not going to say who, but she's in with these people. We see 1 second, we never hear from her again.
Right.
It's like
it starts a whole bunch of threads that never get followed.
Yeah.
Just like Inherent Vice.
Yeah, just like, oh, don't get me started on that pile of garbage.
I'm just saying, if there was one thing you could learn from Inherent Vice, it's don't start a thread and not follow it through at least halfway.
Oh, and explain what's going on before the scene starts a little bit.
All right, I'm ready to do my rating.
I want to say a little thing. If you're not like us, and if you're not a critical thinker, and if you're just a popcorn muncher, I think you'd really enjoy this movie. And I think this is going to be a fine movie for TNT, like TV, like cable TV, like Lawless. Lawless wasn't my favorite movie, but I'm going to watch it when it's on. It's a fine little crime thriller. This was. And I'm going to think that my casual movie-going friends are going to be like, wow, I really like that. Because the violence is violent. The
explosions are fiery.
The explosions are fiery, and there are a couple twists he saw coming that I didn't see coming. And there's a couple times my jaw hit the ground.
I was
like,
they were obvious.
There was the one where I was like, whoa! Whoa! And again, casual movie-going audience might not see that. People who don't try to study every moment like we do.
People who don't regularly read scripts.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that if you are just a popcorn muncher, you'll find this movie plenty entertaining. But it's our job to pick it apart, and we did. So that's it.
All right, I'm going to give my rating.
Yep.
3 out of 10 fat Jesse Pinkmans and his ass. I'm sorry, Aaron Paul. I love you. You were fantastic in Breaking Bad. This was an underutilization of you, and I hope that you get offered better scripts in the future.
I like this movie a lot more than you did. I'm gonna give it 6.5 9s out of 10. I like this movie. I will totally watch this movie again.
When's the last time I quit doing this with you?
When I gave something. What was it? I don't know. I gave something a high review.
This close.
6.5! I like this movie, and I think that people will. But you're right. All your negatives were right. They were spot on. I don't think it knocks it down to a 3, but that's... Films are subjective.
We've covered this also in our reviews before, but for me, 5 out of 10 is average because it's the middle of the road. But the way that standards have been raised by some movies that have been released recently, that makes that an average movie almost unexcusable. And this movie is average. It's very run-of-the-mill.
All right. I forgot our own ratings. I'll move it down to a 5. This is not an exceptional film.
Not by any means.
You're right, but I don't think it was bad.
I don't think it was bad either, but it was average, and average right now is not...
I'll move down to 5, because you're right, I'm not going to tell 100 people to go see this.
Right.
But I don't think like I wasted money seeing this, even though you paid for my ticket. But yeah, I don't feel like it's a waste of money to see this, and I actually did enjoy it with as much things that...
Based on the trailer, we wanted to see
exactly the movie that we got in our trailer, too. So
yeah. So, I mean, it's what I expected. It's what I went to see, and it's what I saw in the trailer. So, I'm not disappointed.
Okay, good. 3's makes me think you're disappointed.
No, if I was really disappointed, I'd
do 1 or 2. Yeah. Okay, well, anyways, sorry about our Deadpool review. There was some technical errors. We really like that movie.
Yeah, I gave Deadpool, I think, a 9.
We both gave it a 9, and that's the highest he ever got. Our review didn't come up, and I think we kind of missed the bar, and we're probably not going to film it now, but...
And if we were to branch out into video game reviews, I picked up the Deadpool video game immediately after seeing the movie. It's really fun.
Okay. Alright, so...
Deadpool video game, Deadpool movie.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you saw the Deadpool movie. If you haven't, go see that movie instead of this one. Okay, if you've already seen the Deadpool movie, go see Deadpool twice instead of this one. I did too! And we both went and saw it twice. I went with my brother, and it was his second time too. It was the same weekend, and we both went for our second time.
Alright, go make yourself some chimichangas.
Wait, before we're out, what should we throw in the description? What review should they see?
Watch our review for the Hateful 8. Because it's not that old, but it hasn't got that many views, and I really enjoyed Hateful 8. And I honestly think that most of the categories it's been nominated for the Oscars, it'll win.
Yeah, me too. I really, really liked Hateful Eight. I'm gonna throw us to. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like
one of our requests.
What?
One of our requests.
One of our requests.
Yeah, we had requests.
Yeah, watch. Somebody told us to watch City of God. We did that, and a lot of people saw that review. Another one, the 1968. I threw that out of my ass. I pulled that out of my ass. Night of the Living Dead. Watch our review of that because we liked that film a lot, and I still do. We watched the old school one.
Colorized,
old colorized one. And that movie's good. Watch that review. I'll throw that in the description. And you guys have a great day, and stay tuned because even though we took a 3-week break, we're not done. Bye!